You hear on the show about royal rumpuses and who could be telling the truth, who's not telling the truth. But this particular story truly has got legs, and it's all really centred upon that now infamous interview with Prince Andrew, which he gave to the BBC regarding, of course, that, well, shall we say, thorny incident which has really truly ruined his life, changed the course and direction of his future, but more importantly, who's actually telling the truth? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. As ever, thank you so much for joining me today. Lovely to see you. And no, I'm only giggling, because, when you get the start of it, you think, oh, another long day. It's humid here now, in case you're wondering, yes. I love that phrase, don't you? You don't sweat, you just glow. I quite like being in Downing Street at this time because it's so cold on that street, trust me. I know it's probably cold for a lot of people coming out that door as well when they're being fired, But seriously, it's just one of those it's a thoroughfare street, so you get the wind from each end and it's quite nice, Not so much in winter though, as ever. But back as ever to this particular breaking story of the day. Now this story really all centres upon the producer of that now infamous Newsnight interview, Sam McAllister, and the former presenter of Newsnight, Emily Maitlis, because they've fallen out big time, which we told you. But there's now a brand new twist associated with this because Samantha, a former lawyer apparently, decided to reveal all in a book called Scoops. It's not doing that well actually, because I think people really kind of know the story. You book the guest and then they basically hang themselves, don't they? Which is what Prince Andrew did, whichever way you look at it. There's no way of dressing it up. But now there's a bigger side to this story because, as we also told you, Emily Maitlis, the presenter, has also sold her version of the events to another production company. Quite where they're going to find the audience for this remains to be seen. I can see these sort of things popping up at 3 a.m. on one of those cable TV channels. People going, really? People bought this, did they? They thought this was interesting. But now, according to Samantha's book, she was left alone with Prince Andrew in Buckingham Palace. There was no aides at all there, nobody taking notes, no assistants. Apparently, they were very happy with everything and then just left her to it. Now, I find this incredible myself because having interviewed senior members of the British monarchy, you're never left alone. Really, and even if you're in a room on your own, one suspects there may be a recording device or ears at doors. Do you know what I'm saying? You just never feel totally alone. But according to Sam, she was. But according to her counterpart, and also a senior assistant for Prince Andrew, he states that he was there during the full duration of that interview. So much so that he has a recording of it. Now, what's interesting here is his recording would have all the off-chats, all the things that she's claiming happened in the book. And as ever, we have to say allegedly. Now, it's interesting because if you remember, there was someone came out and said, if I revealed exactly what Prince Andrew told me, it would finish the monarchy. Right. Well, that person then would have it on that recording device, wouldn't they? So as you can see, I often say here on the show, we like to be impartial and we bring both sides of the story. Now, what's interesting, I find, is that Prince Andrew could really be the kingpin to this story. Who is truly telling the truth? That's what you have to ask. Now, if they were to release this recording, of course, then that becomes into the courts of law because seemingly whoever wrote that book, ghosted it, came up with it, could be accused of not telling the truth. Whatever happens, really, it's all getting really messy. And if I were the production teams behind this, I'd be very careful now about what version and events you go down, unless you put this is for entertainment purposes, as a lot of these royal reporters do as they make these outlandish claims, as you can see, on various platforms on these digital social media outlets. I don't. I tell you the story as we find it. Hence the reason we are like to be fair, balanced, but more importantly, share you the knowledge that I've received. So if I was Prince Andrew, this really is a wonderful opening to set the record straight, because as one blonde is saying one thing and the other is saying the other, truly only you know the truth. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.